Hi, my name is Bob Crosby. I want to tell you what Tough Stuff is, isn't, and how you can get the most from it. Tough Stuff was created to help bosses and employees communicate in a clearer way, deal with difference and conflict more constructively, make tough decisions more expeditiously, listen, really listen to each other, like a no-kidding listening. Also, no kidding about authority and the need for clarity about who's in charge, who influences, who decides, and who has single-point accountability. Tough Stuff doesn't usually stand alone. That is, you are coming to this with mostly people you don't know. In organizations, it is only one component, a training component, of a much larger change effort, grounded in the willingness and ability of the leader to lead, to set a clear direction, communicate well, be and stay connected with his or her employees, be clear about authority, avoid consensus traps or authoritarian traps, and, paradoxically, encourage every employee to lead in their sphere of influence, certainly every manager, every salaried person, every hourly person, to give their own leadership clearly defined. The goal of all this is to create more productive work environments, where clarity about authority is balanced with clarity about influence, and where business objectives are pursued with enthusiasm. When these conditions are in place, bottom line results are often remarkable. All of this depends on people's ability to tell it straight to each other in a supportive environment. Now, blaming isn't what I mean by telling it straight. You know, I have a lot of people say, I tell it straight. I went in and told them they were a jerk. No. What I do mean is illustrated in Appendix N of my book, Walking the Empowerment Tightrope, which is enclosed in this package. That is, the appendix is enclosed. At the very core of Tough Stuff, there's a group called Skill Group, where you'll have an opportunity to immediately practice skills taught in the theory sessions. The skill of openness, as illustrated in Appendix N, is a major skill practice. As you know, non-blaming openness isn't easy. Openness is not only important between people when they differ, but also when they agree. I mean, hey, to say, hey, I like that. I like that. But it is essential if schedules are to be met on time and commitments fulfilled. Well, you know that. I'm probably preaching to the choir. This is probably common sense stuff. So you'll have a chance to sharpen your openness skills, your listening skills, etc. LIOS is really about clarity, about moving from a finding fault and blame orientation culture to a problem-solving possibility culture. I've also enclosed a page on culture shifts from my book. Usually this training is done in organizations that are deliberately attempting, consciously attempting, to make cultural changes like the ones on that page. Most of all, we are about you getting clear about how you, with your own authority, can break ineffective workplace patterns. How you, when in a tough situation, can shift not the other's behavior, that is, not aim at shifting the other's behavior, but aim at shifting your part in the dance. You know, if you shift your part in the dance, it's tough for the other to maintain their position. You'll hear common sense theories about interpersonal communications while you are noticing in the training patterns that aren't working. You'll hear systems theories and get new clarity about steps you can take to create even healthier systems. LIOS has been in business since 1969, and programs like Tough Stuff have been at the core of LIOS from its inception. The graduate program began in '73 and is built around understanding self and how change happens. The things I've been saying on this cassette. Thousands of employees, including CEOs, salaried and hourly employees, have attended Tough Stuff in their own organizations. Roughly 500 union members have been in these sessions. Steelworkers, people from many different unions. They had an advantage that most of you don't have. Their leaders, including union leaders, sent them to Tough Stuff, or at least encouraged them to attend, as a part of their organization's strategy for change. Also, their leaders had, almost always, explained how Tough Stuff fit into the business objectives of the organization. You know, imagine if your boss had just taken you aside to talk to you about how coming to this will fit into the business objectives and the culture shift, and what he or she is hoping you will bring back to that business, ready to go. Also, Tough Stuff participants usually arrive knowing the distinction you'll have about personalness and openness from taking the test in Appendix N. They arrive thinking about cultural shifts they want to help pull off. That's Appendix K4 that's enclosed. And they come with clarity about decision making. And I have enclosed something about that. Most organizations are really at sea about how decisions are made and that kind of clarity. Now, most of you are coming alone, not as a part of an organizational strategy, but for your own personal development. So congratulations for making that choice. The good news is that in last year's Tough Stuff, for people in a similar situation as you, that is, coming with strangers, when asked to rate the session on a 10-point scale for applicability to work, in other words, put a 10 if this is highly applicable, put a 1 if it's not applicable at all, more than half the people rated it a 10. The average was 9+. More than half rated it a 10. Now, some rated it low, but not very many. So, everybody doesn't see it the same. Anyway, Tough Stuff will enable you to potentially develop your capacity to make tough decisions, take a stand, and stay connected. Most people know how to take a stand, slam the door, and leave. Or they get so connected they don't take a stand. Tough Stuff is about both of those dimensions. Stay connected with others, even in the face of resistance. That's not easy. That's why we call this Tough Stuff.